Just a moment. Now on KATU News, a major moment in the future of the Moda Center. For the first time, Trailblazers executives and Portland City Council meet face-to-face to talk about a long-term deal that could shape the arena's future for decades. A deadly shooting at one of the metro area's most popular boat launches. Today, the hunt for answers about a person was found dead at Chinook Landing Marine Park. A shocking road rage case moves into the courtroom. The man accused of chasing another driver through Beaverton and driving in reverse for more than a mile faced a judge today. What prosecutors say may have prevented an even worse outcome. A major reversal from the governor. Tina Kotek is pulling the plug on a proposed data center project on state-owned land in Salem. Why she says the deal no longer serves Oregon's best interests. KATU News is live and on your side at 3:30 right now.
This is KATU News live at 3:30 on your side.
We start with a live look at the Moda Center as we track both a breakthrough and an impasse in the ongoing negotiations to keep the Trailblazers in Portland. The team came to City Hall and spoke publicly for the first time about where things stand and what the team wants to see in a long-term deal to renovate the arena and stay in the Rose City. Thanks for joining us for KATU News Live at 3:30. I'm Reich Gazaway. Vasily Varlamos is standing by with how the council president is reacting to today's meeting. Let's start with the team, though. The team's president of business operations and legal counsel put a lot of things on the record today. That includes the fact that the term sheet the city sent to the team is in fact a non-starter. The team outlined roughly 20 points of contention with it, but did not specify what exactly those are. For background, the term sheet essentially outlines the public investment in the project and what strings would be attached to the public funding. The team did not share specific design plans and actually said it has not hired an architect to draft those plans. The team reps did say the owners are committed to staying in Portland, but it's also clear there's a big divide between the city and the team on striking a deal.
Again, the term sheet that we got presented with, and I think you guys have known this and you've heard this feedback, has been a non-starter for us. There were just elements in there that increased the financial obligations of the team and increased financial impact to the team. And so until there's, and quite frankly, it came at a time when we had been asking for a term sheet for months. And it came at a time after media comments by the commissioner, and it just kind of popped up and we hadn't had the conversation. So we just didn't, quite frankly, see it as the starting place for conversations. Of course.
That is the Blazers' chief legal counsel speaking there. There's also a concern from the team in the city that the city will sue them in order to force the team to cover a portion of the renovation cost. The mayor says the city has no intention to sue the team. City councilors say that would only happen if the team leaves. However, it remains a big sticking point in moving forward in this process. Let's now get to Vasily Varlamos, live for us at Moda Center. Vasily, how did the council react to this new information from the team?
Right, Portland City Council President Jamie Dunphy said he was very hopeful about future negotiations because both sides now know where each other stand. Now, multiple other councilors say they were encouraged about hearing from the Trailblazers leadership for the first time. Dunphy stressed that the city needs more specifics before approving any public funding. He also acknowledged that the team introduced issues that were outside the drafted term sheet, but said that's a part of the negotiating process. He did draw a firm line in the sand, saying he doesn't want to reopen anything from past lease agreements made between the city and the team, saying the city is focused on future agreements, not relitigating the past.
All right, Vasily, councilors say they are encouraged, but obviously still a lot needs to be agreed on. How confident is the council president they will ultimately get a deal done?
Right, while saying he has a lot of confidence that they will be able to pass a term sheet on August 12th, Council President Jamie Dunphy did say that the distance between the Blazers and the city is, quote, pretty significant. Now, ultimately, he says he believes a deal will get done. We asked him how he can have so much confidence with the two sides so far apart.
Because it has to happen. We need to get this done. And the people who are going to get it done are the people at the table now. So I have every confidence that those professionals will get it done.
Dunphy said key items of the term sheet like labor agreements and annual payments are red lines that the city will not budge on. While the team hasn't said specifically what they don't like about the term sheet, the deputy city administrator said the team's issues were, quote, largely financial. We will have more from the council president and his reaction and the meeting itself coming up at 4 o'clock. Right back to you.
Vasily Varlamos, see you at 4 o'clock. Thanks for that. Next week, City Council will hold its first public hearings on the renovation deal. They'll take public testimony on Wednesday and Thursday. People can sign up to testify online. Again, a vote on this term sheet is currently scheduled for August 12th. The future of the county's investment in the Moda Center could be decided next week. The county has scheduled a special meeting for Thursday, August 6th. Commissioners could take action on a resolution to help fund the arena renovation project. The agenda includes a draft resolution along with more than a dozen proposed amendments. Those changes address issues like community benefits, oversight, transparency, limits on county funding, and conditions that would have to be met before any money is released. Stay with KATU for continuing coverage of the Moda Center renovation negotiations. You can watch today's work session in full on KATU's YouTube page. We also have information on the public testimony set for next week on our website, KATU.com. Also at 3:30, a live look at the Columbia River from the Vancouver side as we have breaking news. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly shooting at Chinook Landing Marine Park. A spokesperson says they received reports of gunfire just after midnight. KATU's Thunvi Verma joins us from Chinook Landing. Thunvi, give us a lay of the land here.
So I'm going to give you that lay of the land, and I'm going to step out of the screen so you can really see what I'm looking at. We're standing as close as we can to the entrance of the park. A deputy here tells me the location of the incident is actually hundreds of yards away from the front gate that we're showing you right now. You can see just one sheriff vehicle out front, and during a press conference just about an hour and a half ago, a deputy told us that they've been out there for about 10 hours and that they'll be here for as long as they need to do their investigation. And all day we've been seeing cars turning around because they can't get into the park. So this is video we got of the scene early this morning. Thankfully, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says there's no threat to the public at this time, though they couldn't explain specifically why that is the case when asked at the press conference. And as of now, there are no suspects in custody, and there's also no description of any suspects that they're looking for.
Thunvi, you asked them whether something like this is unusual at the park. What did they have to say?
So in short, the deputy said it is unusual for something like this to happen at the park. He looked at incidents from this year and last, which is why it's even more surprising to the larger community as well. And coming up at 5 p.m., we'll hear from the Sheriff's Office directly, and they'll tell us what they know about the victim. I'll send it back to you.
Thunvi, thanks. I swear I know you're not Vasily. I have no idea where that came from. Thanks.
Prove it.
The man accused of chasing another driver through Beaverton in a dangerous road rage incident appeared in court today. 29-year-old Armand Hastings is accused of pursuing the victim, driving in reverse for more than a mile and endangering other drivers. Prosecutors say the victim did the right thing by calling 911 and driving to the Beaverton Police Department. Hastings' attorney declined to comment after today's hearing. Police say the investigation is continuing as they look into whether the suspect may have been involved in any other similar cases. Here's a live look now from our camera in the Dalles as the state approaches another record-setting wildfire season. More than 1.8 million acres have now burned, according to the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center, nearing the record 1.9 million acres burned in 2024. The largest fire in the state continues to be the Big Grass Fire in southeastern Oregon. The fire has crossed into southwestern Idaho and has burned more than 301,000 acres. As of this morning, it is 15% contained. I want to bring in Jessica Newyear now with the Oregon Department of Forestry. Jessica, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What's the biggest challenge crews across the state are facing right now?
The biggest challenge that they're facing is extremely receptive fuels. It's extremely dry. The wind has not let up, and we're seeing some high temps regularly. So with those things combined, it's just creating critical fire weather, which then creates extreme fire behavior. So they're just having a hard time catching them because they're moving really fast.
The National Weather Service issued a fire weather watch for Saturday in parts of central and eastern Oregon. What are you and the agency most concerned about?
We're concerned about the winds that are coming in with that. Again, we're kind of seeing a pattern of almost every Thursday going into the weekend. We're seeing a pattern of lightning and then heavy winds and high temperatures. So we're kind of going back into that pattern this weekend and preparing for, a similar week to the weeks that we've been having.
We are still a couple of days away from August. How concerned is ODF about the rest of the summer?
We are ready to have an extremely busy summer. Having this many acres burn this early in the year is something that we have not seen before. Most firefighters within the agency have not seen this type of fire behavior before. So, in looking forward to the rest of the summer, we're doing our best to make sure that everybody remains safe, keep that firefighter fatigue as minimal as possible. You know, we want to make sure that they're rested as best they can be, but they have a lot of dedication in them, and our firefighters don't quit, so they'll keep going for as long as needed.
Certainly a lot of concern. Jessica New here with the Oregon Department of Forestry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you've been impacted by Oregon's wildfires or the smoke they're producing, the state has launched a new 24-hour hotline to help connect people with resources. That hotline is available to anyone dealing with wildfire-related issues, including evacuations, property loss, or health concerns caused by smoke. The hotline number is here on your screen, 833-699-0554. State officials say staff will help identify available resources and next steps. The hotline does not provide emergency assistance or guarantee financial aid. If you lost food you bought with SNAP benefits during the recent fires, you may have more time to get help. The Oregon Department of Human Services has extended the deadline to request replacement benefits until August 14th for people in 10 fire-impacted counties. Those counties include Crook, Deschutes, Gillum, Jackson, Jefferson, Sherman, Umatilla, Union, Wasco, and Wheeler counties. People can request replacement benefits online, by phone as well, or by mail at a local ODHS office as well. After August 14th, the state says the standard 10-day reporting deadline will return. A scenic stretch of Highway 30 near Rowena is fully open again, more than a year after the 2025 Rowena fire. ODOT says crews have finished replacing the highway's custom-built historic guardrail, which had to be specially made to match the character of the historic Columbia River Highway while meeting modern safety standards. Officials say painting will wrap up by mid-August. Still ahead, we're heading into the KATU newsroom to check in on the brand new stories our digital team just posted to our website and our YouTube page, including a race between the Portland Pickles mascot and our own KATU sports director, Guillermo Moda. You do not want to miss that. Plus, this weekend, Portland streets will belong to people, not cars. Sunday Parkways returns with a brand new North Portland route. We'll show you what you can expect coming up. Welcome back to KATU News Live at 3:30. We're in the newsroom to check in with our digital team as well as Dave Selesky on weather in just a moment. We're going to start with our special projects producer, Samantha Holm, telling us what's happening on KATU.com as well as the YouTube page. Let's start in Seattle. Big development there with the police department.
Yeah, so after calling on the Seattle police chief to resign, we did get word today that that the Seattle police chief did in fact resign, send in his letter of resignation after the mayor called on him to resign yesterday in a letter. And so the exact reasoning still has not been given quite yet, but we do know that it is in relation to some of his conduct post the Bite of Seattle shooting and some questions about his absence.
Yeah, a lot of questions about his traveling and not being in Seattle when these events happened. He was in Dallas when that shooting happened.
Yeah, so we're going to keep tracking the developments there, but that's just what we know right now, and we wanted to let everybody know because it's brand new, and we just found out from our partners over in Como. So wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. We had other things on the docket, but we switched it around really quick, as often happens in news.
Yeah, a lot of controversy with that. Obviously, Seattle police are still looking for at least one suspected shooter, so this is a big development as that happens. All right, another big topic here in Portland is the Moda Center, the Blazers.
Yes,
we had a big meeting about that today.
And I know that you and Vasily Varlamis were there basically all morning learning about that, but we do have, and finally we had some presence from the Portland Trail Blazers there, and they got to make their opinion heard and their stance heard on what they want in that term sheet, and they were actually saying that there were some deviations from that term sheet that were outlined in the Senate bill that allotted that Moda Center funding. So we've got this full press conference, not press conference, but this work session meeting. We've been streaming it, so you can watch it up here on our YouTube channel, and you can hear from the operations manager at the Trailblazers, and we can, we're just going to keep following this, and it really was a big deal that the Blazers attended this meeting.
Yeah, a lot of news, a lot of updates there. It's 2 hours and 47 minutes, a little trick. You can hit 2x speed and watch it in less than an hour and a half.
I know you're a big fan of 2x speed.
If you're interested in that, you can watch it much quicker. And there was a lot of new information from both the team and the city. So if you're following this at all, I think it's really worth a watch. We got a lot of new information from the team, and that's all within this story on KATU.com. And we'll be adding to the body of that story as well with a lot of the details we got if you don't want to watch that work session. So a lot there.
And speaking of 2x speed, we had a chicken that outran Dylan T.
So he
Pickle.
actually, that's a heinous chicken costume.
Well, and the chicken was none other than our very own Guillermo Mota. So when you are watching this, you think there's no chance. But little by little.
Were you sandbagged? Here's Guillermo right here.
Got the burners on.
Were you and you took the hat
Here,
off?
let's bring Guillermo in really quickly.
Were you
this
sandbagging?
full video is on YouTube. We just wanted to ask you, what did that victory feel like against Dylan T. Pickle?
What do you think?
You know, it was a tough performance out there. The environment was against us. But in the first half, they had us in the first half. You know, that chicken mask really got in my way. But then I cheated. I would like to say that I cheated. I like to keep it fair. I was supposed to keep it on, but I couldn't see anything.
I thought you were worried about messing up your hair.
That also.
You see him. You also just.
That also was true. I was like.
And I also did hear you were being challenged to a rematch where you keep the chicken mask on the whole time. Wow. Are you going to take him up on that?
I think I will. What do you say we do it live on one of these shows?
Is that all you get
I think
for
that
winning?
would be great.
No. This is one of our producers. I just want to show Dylan T. Pickle some love. So.
Guillermo Mota, the champion against Dylan T. Pickle. Thank you for your time.
You're next.
All right, G, Sammy, thank you for that. Let's move on to Dave Selesky now talking weather. We're not going to talk about races.
Oh, no.
We have actually important stuff to talk about. Still a lot of fire danger, especially east of the Cascades.
The fire danger is going to be increasing as we get in towards tomorrow and going in, especially on Saturday. So because of that, this whole area you see out here, Central Oregon, the Columbia Basin, the Columbia Gorge, northeastern Oregon, southeast Oregon, beginning on Saturday is going to be under a fire weather watch. That will likely get bumped up to a fire weather warning or a red flag warning by tomorrow. The reason for that is there's an area of low pressure, cooler air moving on in. Cooler air is denser, it's heavier, it's more compact, very warm, less dense air on the east side of the Cascades. So we're going to see winds going down the gorge by Saturday, 35 to 40 miles an hour. So that's going to cause those fires and that smoke to blow. And again, they could leap their fire lines and start new spot fires. And we've got several 100,000 acres on fire right now in the state. I think at the top of the hour when I came in, we were talking about 1.8 million acres so far.
Almost at the record.
Which is 1.93 to 1.96 back in 2024.
And we have a long time to go still.
This is just the end of July and the start of August. And again, hottest months of the year. going to be August, and of course the big fires can happen all the way into September on, again, another very warm and dry month.
Any weather maker coming behind that for especially the Willamette Valley and the
So
coast?
we have this system coming in on Saturday, and that's going to bring the cooler weather. So we'll go from temperatures tomorrow in the upper 80s to temperatures on Saturday in the mid to upper 70s, and some rain showers possible, but only about 0.03 of an inch at best across the area. So we'll see some showers Saturday. Going to be dry on the east side, but the big problem is going to be the gusty winds in the gorge.
Dave Selesky, thank you for
bet.
that. Portland's Sunday Parkways come back this weekend with a brand new route through North Portland. From 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, people can walk, bike, roll, or scoot along a 6.7-mile car-free route connecting downtown St. John's, McCoy Park, Columbia Park, and McKenna Park. The free event also showcases recent walking and biking improvements along North Willamette Boulevard while highlighting local shops, restaurants, and community activities in St. John's. New details tonight. An independent review finds the Longview School District made significant mistakes in its response to the alleged hazing and sexual assault case at Mark Morris High School, with major changes now being recommended ahead. And Governor Tina Kotek pulls the plug on a proposed data center project in Salem, why she's stopping the sale of state-owned land, coming up. Welcome back. Governor Tina Kotek is halting a proposed data center project on state-owned land in Salem. Today, she directed the Oregon Department of Administrative Services to terminate the sale of about 32 acres at the Mill Creek Corporate Center. Kotek says the decision is about making sure state land is used in a way that serves the public interest. SMF and balancing economic growth with concerns about infrastructure, natural resources, and local communities. The move comes as the State Advisory Committee continues developing recommendations for how Oregon should handle future data center development. Tomorrow marks the end of an era for a busy bottle and can redemption center in North Portland. The Bottle Drop Redemption Center at Delta Park will close its doors for good Friday, leaving customers to find other ways to cash in their containers. The closure comes after the building's landlord chose not to renew the lease. The Delta Park location has been the subject of years of complaints from neighboring businesses. They say the Redemption Center attracted crime, open drug use, and other public safety problems. Oregon Beverage Recycling Cooperative says it looked for a new location, but instead decided to expand its network of green and blue bag drop sites across North Portland. The Longview School District has released the results of an independent review into the handling of the alleged hazing and sexual assault case at Mark Morris High School. That report concludes the district made several significant mistakes in its response, including questions about whether its Title IX coordinator was ever notified of the allegations. It also recommends major changes, including clearer locker room supervision, stronger anti-hazing programs, a rewrite of the Student-Athlete Code of Conduct, and possibly disciplining students who encourage or participate as bystanders. The district says it has already started reviewing some of the recommendations. The full report, plus a timeline of the case, is available at KATU.com right now. The KATU team's getting ready for our next newscast. Deborah Knapp's already live on set for us. Deb, what are the big stories we're tracking live at 4?
Right, we continue to track the future of the Moda Center. Next at 4, we take you inside today's first meeting between team executives and Portland City Council. Plus, the legal battle over possible ICE detention facility on the Oregon coast. That's heading back to court. Why judge has set another hearing after months of delays and what could finally move this high-profile case forward. And if you have Providence health insurance, this could affect you. Why thousands of Oregonians are being forced to change plans and the questions many say still have not been answered. You can catch these stories and other top headlines coming up in 2 minutes.
Thanks for watching KATU News, Portland's most watched news, reaching more viewers more often daily than any other source for local news.
Now on KATU News, Portland City leaders and the Trailblazers come face to face as a debate over funding renovations at Moda Center continues. Why the team's calling the city's demands a non-starter and what concerns city councilors are voicing with a critical vote now less than 2 weeks away.
A popular park in Fairview now a crime scene. Deputies are investigating a deadly shooting at Chinook Landing Marine Park overnight. What officials are sharing about the case as they work to identify who's responsible.
Also, one of Oregon's largest healthcare providers shutting down its insurance plan. Why Providence Health is ending the program and what it could mean for people who rely on it.
New developments in the high school sex abuse scandal in Longview. A third-party report now highlighting where oversight went wrong and what changes the district could make to prevent something like this from happening again. KATU News is on your side at 4 right now.
This is KATU News at 4, on your side.
This process cannot move forward if we're all faced with threats, public negotiations, and one-sided, uninformed proposals.
Discussions over plans to remodel the Moda Center and the future of the Portland Trailblazers drawing some sharp comments today. The president of the Portland Trailblazers demanding Portland city leaders take the threat of litigation off the table. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for KATU News at 4. I'm Deborah Knapp.
And I'm Mike Gasway. A lot of new developments in this story tonight. KATU is on your side, breaking down everything you need to know. Over the next few minutes, we'll show you what the Trailblazers say they need for negotiations to be successful, what issues counselors appear to be split on, how the mayor is responding to fears of legal action against the team, and what happens now. KATU's Vasily Varlamov is live for us now at Moda Center.
So, Vasily, counselors were encouraged about hearing from the team.
Yes, Deb, but while encouraged, Council President Jamie Dunphy says the distance between the City Council and the Portland Trailblazers right now is, quote, pretty significant. Now, he did say he does believe that the City Council will ultimately agree upon a term sheet on August 12th, but that's really just a starting point for negotiations on the city's portion of the Moda Center renovation project. Now, Trailblazer representatives say they have 20 points of issue with the first draft of the term sheet. Team officials didn't reveal what those 20 issues are, but the deputy city administrator said they are, quote, largely financial. Council President Dunphy said there are some pieces in the term sheet that are non-negotiable, but he says they're still confident a deal will get done between the city and the Trailblazers.
We will arrive at a conclusion that is beneficial for everybody. I won't sign a blank check. I'm not assuming that it's just a done deal no matter what. And there's a lot of work to be done, but I have a lot of confidence that the people who are going to be involved and the players in this are absolutely serious about finding what that path may be.
Now, Dunphy stressed the city needs more specifics before approving any public funding. He also acknowledged that the team introduced issues that were outside the drafted term sheet, but said that's part of the negotiating process. He did draw a firm line in the sand, saying he doesn't want to reopen anything from past lease agreements made between the city and the team, saying that the city is focused on future negotiations, not relitigating the past. Live at Moda Center, Vasily Varlamov, KATU News.
Vasily, thanks. The team confirmed a lot on the record today, including the fact that the city's draft term sheet is a, quote, non-starter for the team. That term sheet outlined a $573 million public investment in the arena in exchange for a $3 million annual payment from the team and a number of other commitments tied to things like allowing arena workers to unionize and community benefits for the arena. The team also addressed how they settled on a $600 million project and why they haven't shared specific project details with the city.
In 2021, we identified more than $800 million in those years' dollars of projects that we could do, and we have gotten it down to about $600 million worth of projects that we probably should do based on those 4 factors that I mentioned: infrastructure, revenue generation, fan experience, and technology. We've shared those plans with the city in a meeting back in 2023, so again, they have that information. It's changed since then because we have a new owner who has a different way that he wants, again, if this was your house and you bought it, you'd want to change from the plans that were there in 2020. So we're trying to figure that out. And then the secondary problem is we have architects and general contractors that we're excited to get to work with. We've in fact had interviews with the city and state by our side to have those, to pick those and select those. But until we have the funds to pay those architects, we don't have plans to show you.
There's also a concern from the team that the city will sue them in order to force the team to cover a portion of the renovation. The mayor says the city has no intention of doing that. City councilors say that will only happen if the team leaves. However, it remains a big sticking point in moving forward in this process.
Now, a lot of today's discussion was over a term sheet the city sent to the Blazers. That sheet outlines several things. One, the city's financial commitment. Two, its request for the team. And three, other details that will need to be worked out in a long-term lease. Here are the big numbers in the term sheet. It includes a $573 million public commitment. That's split by the state, county, and city. It requires a total of about $100 million over 20 years in payments from the Blazers to the city, essentially for rent. It also commits $275 million for ongoing approved capital expenses. That money is covered by the ticket taxes and parking fees at Moda and the Rose Garden. It includes a slew of other labor-related demands and community access requirements.
So what comes next? On Wednesday, August 5th, the Portland City Council will have its first public hearing with public testimony on the term sheet. The council's deliberations are expected to stretch into August 6th. Then, in just under 2 weeks from now, the council will vote on the term sheet. If everything goes well, leaders will then work to establish a joint authority between the city and the state. The council hopes to vote on a long-term lease agreement in December. The clock is ticking. The city, county, and the Blazers all say they need to reach an agreement to fund renovations before the end of the year.
Meantime, the future of Multnomah County's investment in the Moda Center could be decided next week. The county has scheduled a special meeting for Thursday, August 6th. Commissioners could take action on a resolution to help fund the arena renovation project. They hope to address things like community benefits, oversight, transparency, limits on county funding, and conditions that would have to be met before any money is released. The special meeting follows last week's decision to delay a vote, so commissioners could review the proposal in more detail.
Stick with KATU as we continue to track these negotiations and what they could mean for the future of Moda Center. We'll bring you any updates as we get them. In the meantime, you can catch up on the discussions at every level online right now at KATU.com.
Developing tonight, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating a homicide at Chinook Landing Marine Park.
A spokesperson says deputies received reports of gunfire just after midnight. The Sheriff's Office says there's no threat to the public at this time. They could not explain why that is the case when asked at a news conference. As of now, there's no suspect in custody. There's also no description of a suspect or suspects. We're still working to confirm how many shots were fired. The Sheriff's Office says there were multiple shell casings at the scene. They also could not tell us where exactly the shooting took place.
Thousands of Oregonians are either in limbo, wondering what will happen with their insurance plan, or have already been notified that they will need to switch next year. One of the state's largest healthcare providers, Providence Health, is closing its insurance plan by the end of the year. The announcement was sent to media outlets in May, but some say they still haven't heard directly from Providence.
KATU's Christina Giarnelli is live now after talking to those affected. Christina, Providence is only now sending out notices.
Yeah, it says it's sending those written notices in the mail only to the people who have Providence through their employer, so that private Providence Insurance still doesn't know when it might send those written notifications to people who have Providence through Oregon Marketplace or through Medicare Advantage.
Colin McCormick says he found out from the news a couple months ago that Providence was terminating its insurance plan.
I am a Medicare Advantage patient. I'm on disability. I have diabetes and kidney disease, so I have a lot of doctors at Providence, and I'm just kind of wondering what comes next.
On its website, Providence notes that it's working to transition people on Medicare Advantage to another insurance company. In a written statement, the Oregon Health Authority says it's working with Providence on that, and continuity of care will be top of mind through this. In the meantime, though, people like Colin are left wondering whether they will be able to continue seeing their trusted medical team next year.
It's terrifying, frankly. I have many years of experience with these providers. You know, they know a little bit about me and, you know, how life treats me and affects me. And starting from scratch is really scary.
Now, Providence declined an interview but sent a written statement saying that in May, when this was announced to the media, there was widespread media coverage. They say they've also posted this on their social media, and they expect to be able to tell people on Medicare Advantage and Marketplace about it once they have more information about the transition. Live in Northeast Portland, Christina Giarnelli, KATU News.
Christina, thanks. Taking a live look outside now from our camera on top of Big Pink. Some more clouds have moved in. Overall, a nice day, though.
Not a bad day at all. Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Dave Selesky is tracking our forecast.
Yeah, most of the clouds are off towards the east of us, up into the Cascade foothills, and we're also monitoring the fire conditions and the smoke conditions on the east side of the Cascades because of the wildfires that are burning there. This is a live look now from our Subaru Portland camera up on top of Stacker Butte. As you can see, there's that haze layer, smoke layer from all those wildfires that are burning, looking off towards the east into central Oregon. The Dalles, however, reporting sunny skies, 87 the current temperature there this hour. And in the meantime, we still have an air quality watch up for parts of the gorge and parts of central Oregon. That's going to stay in effect through midday tomorrow. This beige area you see, this is a fire weather watch up for the gorge, central Oregon, the Columbia Basin, southeastern, northeastern Oregon, parts of eastern Washington as well. That goes into effect on Saturday and will likely be bumped up to a red flag warning or a fire weather warning beginning tomorrow as we anticipate a change in the weather, bringing in cooler air to the west side of the Cascades and strong gusty winds in the gorge, which could really cause some problems with the wildland fires that are already burning on the east side. Also, smoke's going to be a problem again, continues throughout much of the area. Here's our smoke forecast from this afternoon going into tomorrow. Again, areas of moderate to dense smoke on the east side. Likely beyond that as well. And as you can see, here's the visible satellite picture. You can see here the smoke plumes from these big fires. There's the grass fire you can see up there, and there's that big row complex fire. All that smoke moving off towards the north-northeast. Got a few high clouds across the area, but again, no precipitation coming out of those clouds, and the good news is no thunderstorms coming out of those clouds either. I'll have the forecast locally for you in about 10 minutes. Back to you guys.
Dave, thanks. Our crews are continuing to follow up with local leaders after a tense meeting between the Trailblazers and City Council. We'll bring you any new developments as we get them.
Also, the National Weather Service issuing a fire weather watch for parts of Oregon as crews battle 30 large wildfires across the state. What resources are now being offered for people impacted by the flames?
And next, a third-party review raising tough questions about the Longview School District's response to a sex abuse scandal at Mark Morris High School. What changes this says need to be made to keep kids safe.